Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday, April 3rd. My name is Alan, and I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. The purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by following the AA program of recovery, and I do that by being honest, vulnerable, and accountable, which is why I make the videos. I'm no expert in AA, spirituality, or recovery. I'm just sharing my experience on this journey. The recipe we follow here is we read the daily reading out of the AA Daily Reflections book, and I'll share my take on what I took from it, and I'll usually share some other topic that kind of is resonating in my life at the time. So, all right, I guess let's get going for today. Today's topic is going to be accepting our humanness and the anti-promises. All right, it's Monday, April 3rd. Accepting our humanness. We finally saw that the inventory should be ours, not the other man's. So we admitted our wrongs honestly and became willing to set these matters straight. As Bill sees at page 222. Why is it that the alcoholic is so unwilling to accept responsibility? I used to drink because of the things that other people did to me. Once I came to AA, I was told to look at where I'd been wrong. What did I have to do? What did I have to do with all these different matters? When I simply accepted that I had a part in them, I was able to put it on paper and see it for what it was, humanness. I'm not expected to be perfect. I have made errors before and I'll make them again. To be honest about them allows me to accept them and myself and those with whom I had the differences. From there, recovery is just a short distance ahead. All right, so this reading has to do with the fourth and fifth step, really the fourth step on doing a personal inventory of our wrongs. So that's really the basis, and of course April is the fourth month, so there'll be a lot of readings with that. Right. So some of the things that I took from this was that the inventory should be ours, not the other man's. It's so easy as we're in our using to blame everybody else, because who wants to look at their stuff, right? So the inventory is just to only look at our part. Now what's interesting is as we do the inventory, we start by pointing the finger, and then it comes back to us. At least that's the way I see it. So, but yeah, so it should be about our inventory. And the next part is we admitted our wrongs honestly and became willing to set those matters straight. Right? So why do we need to be honest and willing? Why is that important? Well, it's a new way of life. I don't know about you, but I'm not used to being honest and willing when I'm using. I'm just not. Right? Why is it that the alcoholic is so unwilling to accept responsibility? I kind of thought about this, and I think ultimately it's because we want to keep drinking and using. So whatever it takes, and I don't want to be looking, I don't want to, if I can blame everybody else, then the focus is over there, and I can do my own thing, right? The next part is when I simply accepted that I had a part in them. And I think the important part there is in any situation, you can almost always have some part in it. And what's important to me is keeping my side of the street clean. And if I do that, then I'll be okay. But to worry about anybody else's stuff, it just does not do any good. Right? I think the last part is to be honest about them allows me to accept them and myself. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to hurt people. We're going to be dishonest. We're going to be fearful. And I think the part here is just clean up your mess. Be honest and clean up your mess. So, all right, so that's that part on the reading. And now the other part I want to talk about was a thing I just heard was called the anti-promises. So those who are not familiar, in the big book, once you get to a page about 83, 84, right at the end of step 9, there's a couple paragraphs that talk about the promises, all the things that will manifest themselves as you do the steps. Now, we'll share those tomorrow, but today I just thought this was interesting. So I was at the at an AA meeting the other night, and the leader pointed to a list, and it's on page 52 of the big book in the chapter We Agnostics. The context is under the discussion of whether we are willing to believe in a power greater than ourselves. All right. So here's kind of what it said. We had to ask ourselves why we shouldn't apply to our human problems the same readiness to change our point of view. And so these anti-promises are really, if you don't do anything about it, this is what will manifest for you, right? We were having trouble with personal relationships. We couldn't control our emotional natures. Nope. We were a prey to misery and depression. Yeah, that, we couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We couldn't seem to be of real help to other people. it's an interesting list. So if I look at that, I can look at the list a couple different ways. Um, was this true for me, or is this true for me? It definitely was true for me. And if I'm looking through this and these still apply a lot to any real degree, then maybe I'm not working the program as well as I should be. To me, this list accurately conveys the struggles I've had living in this world under the influence of alcohol and drugs. Okay, you don't want to change? Here you go. And it's, they all apply to me. I was able to make a living, but there was still that feeling of uselessness that drove me to do that. So, anyway, that's kind of the topic for today. Tomorrow, I want to kind of just show the flip side, the promises, since it just seems fitting. And so, anyway, that's today's reading. I hope everyone has a wonderful Monday. And I just want to encourage you to, if you, as you go through the day, just look for opportunities to, show grace. We're human. Other people we come in contact with human. We all make mistakes. Instead of being critical and jumping on them and being all judgmental, maybe just get a little empathy, a little forgiveness and grace. And we're all trying to do the best we can. I think if we all look at each other that way, that we're doing the best we can, I think things will go a little bit smoother. So anyway, hope you have a good day and be back here tomorrow.